from this tunnel and try to get some light to come in during daylight hours. So getting back to how the tunnel was built, like I was saying before, it was a cut and cover method developed by the Romans 2,000 years ago for aqueducts and for highway underpasses. A lot of our civil engineering comes from them, especially concrete and highways and such, and water, all of our good stuff. All the heavy-duty civil engineering things we have now comes directly from them. Right now we're near Clinton Street, and if you look up in this opening through the air shaft, you can see about how deep we are. Those stone sidewalk slabs, which they use as cap elements, are actually 4 feet below the surface of the present-day Atlantic Avenue. And if you just go and measure it off, you'll see we're 4 stories below the surface of the street right now, which is pretty deep for a cut and cover tunnel. Now, the stone all had to come from Manhattan. Like I was saying before, Brooklyn and New York, Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island are just basically debris rubble piles left by a glacier. So there was no rock to harvest to build this tunnel with. However, the contractor they hired, William Beard, had lots of experience building cut and covered structures because he built the first Croton aqueduct system 2 years earlier in 1842 that brought water from Westchester County into Manhattan Island. And he also had contracts to build Broadway and 3rd Avenue in Manhattan at the same time that he was supposed to build this place. Now, Manhattan had 2 mountain ranges in it originally, which is why they're able to build all those very tall buildings so close together. And if you look at the skyline of New York, you can actually get a good image of what the mountain ranges look like. They're tall in lower Manhattan, dropped off around 14th Street, came up around where the Empire State Building is, rolled down again to Central Park, and then underneath 110th Street, where Central Park is, there's actually a fault right through Manhattan Island. We actually have fault lines running through here, just like San Francisco does, except ours are largely inactive. But once every few years, they kick up like a 1.2 on the Richter scale, and you can feel the springs in your bed shake a little bit if you're aware of what's going on. But all this stone is called mica schist, is the chemical name for it, otherwise known as Manhattan bedrock. So as he would go and build 3rd Avenue past where the UN building is now, he ran into a lot of rock outcroppings. He cut it up, put it on barges, and feed it into the tunnel project. And the rest of the stone for this tunnel came from where Harlem is today. And the wall is 6.5 feet thick at the base, 4.5 feet thick at the spring line, which is where the brick arch begins. Then the brick arch is 4.5 feet thick, and then that tapers to 2 feet thick at the center of the arch, which is called the crown. And the other side of the tunnel is just a reflection of this side, obviously. The whole thing took 7 months to build, using a crew of 800 Irish laborers. And keep in mind, they had no compressed air, they had no jackhammers, they had no diamond saws for cutting rocks, they didn't have any kind of dyno hose or caterpillar excavating machines. All they had was human and animal labor. And they built this half-mile long tunnel in just 7 months.
Using those. How many fatalities did they have? Or did they have any fatalities?
There were a couple of fatalities, which I'm going to get to shortly.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you'll like them. They're kind of interesting. I'll show you exactly where they took place. All right, now.